Chair now recognizes the gentleman from California, Mr. Khanna.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, I'm hoping we can start where we may have common ground: no war in Iran. In 2016, President Trump was one of the few people on the Republican stage to have the guts to say that George W. Bush's war in Iraq was an utter disaster. He promised the American people no endless wars. Tucker Carlson has said that thousands of Americans will die if there's a war in Iran. He is cautioning that currently neocons are trying to get President Trump into a war in Iran. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene has said the American people don't want to bomb Iran. Will you today assure the American people and the MAGA movement that you will not bomb Iran unless we are hit?
Congressman, it's good to hear you quoting conservatives.
When they're right, I quote them.
I will tell you this. The President has been earnestly and completely committed to a peace process, has given Iran every opportunity, those talks ongoing, but he also fully recognizes the threat that Iran with a nuclear weapon would exist.
Will you commit to us not bombing them? I mean, that's what the conservative MAGA movement is calling for it online. You'll see. I mean, they want a commitment that we not bomb Iran unless we're directly hit.
Well, here in this forum, it wouldn't be prudent for me to commit or not to commit. My job is to be postured and prepared in the region, just as the chairman.
How about this?
Any potential capability.
Would you agree with this analysis that Netanyahu is itching for a fight? If Netanyahu uses American missiles to hit Iran, he's going to drag us into a war there because Iran's going to say they're using American missiles. Our military knows that you cannot just through hits eliminate Iran's nuclear capability. They'll simply go underground, and they will then end monitoring. And unlike Iraq, they're in heavily civilian sites. Will you stand up today and make it clear to Netanyahu that that escalation, what he's threatening just yesterday, is not in the American interest, that he should not be dragging America into war with Iran?
Well, Congressman, that question included a lot of speculation. What I know is that Bibi Netanyahu is going to put his country first, and we're going to put our country first, and we're positioned properly in the region to ensure that we're prepared for any potential contingency.
Are you concerned about his escalation into Iran, and will you assure the American people you're going to do everything possible to keep us out of a war in Iran?
We remain, as the President has said, committed to creating the conditions for peace, creating the conditions for talks where Iran does not have the ability to develop a nuclear weapon.
I'm running out of time, 2 minutes, so let me ask you another matter. Senator Baldwin asked you about the legal authority for the Marines in my state. I disagree with you. I thought not only do I not want Marines in Iran, I don't want them in California.
Recognize Mr. Khanna from California for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Power, I appreciated your testimony and your focus on innovation, your focus on stabilizing demand, on building capacity. I noticed, even though you're here as a Republican called witness, there was a word missing in your testimony, the beautiful word of tariffs. I assume by that omission, you don't think that President Trump's tariff strategy is working in building advanced manufacturing here.
Thank you for the question, Congressman. We're not really impacted by tariffs, and it's hard for me to comment on it directly in this hearing because our entire supply chain is regulated, that we have to have everything from raw materials and everything onshore. So for United States companies that serve the defense market, we don't really buy anything offshore, and it's hard for me to comment directly.
Mr. Power, you're certainly a thoughtful person. I mean, if the President asked you, do you think his tariff policy is working to bring advanced manufacturing in the United States, would you answer yes or no?
I think we're starting to see countries come to the table and negotiate, but my perspective is purely China-focused.
But do you think his policy is working in terms of the way he's implemented the tariff policies?
I think we're going to start to see tariffs work over the next 90 to 100 days as things settle down.
You support his tariff policy?
I think tariff policy that means China cannot hide manufactured goods going through other countries.
I'm not asking you theoretically. I'm saying the way the President's gone about the tariff policy. Do you support it or not?
Yes, largely I support tariff policies to reassure United States manufacturing.
Trump's tariff policies?
Yes.
Mr. Kissinger, do you support Trump's tariff policies? Mr. Kissinger? Do you support Trump's tariff policies as he's implemented it?
I am not an expert on tariff policies, and I would tell you, I am an expert, if I may finish.
You know, I noticed none of the Republican witnesses mentioned tariffs, the beautiful word tariffs. Here he is on a manufacturing industrial policy. The three Republican experts are recommending everything but tariffs. Everything but tariffs. Your testimony didn't have tariffs, correct?
I am an expert on enabling advanced manufacturing scale-up in the United States and not on tariffs.
Tariff in it, your opening testimony.
Of course not. I didn't come to testify on
Mr. Power,
tariffs.
did your testimony have any word tariff in it?
No, sir. We're asked to testify on
Mr.
bringing
Bishop,
advanced manufacturers back to the United
Did your testimony
States.
have anything to say with tariffs in it?
No.
So the three Republican witnesses come to a hearing on industrial policy, and none of them mentioned the word tariff, not one single one. And yet all Donald Trump is doing is tariff policy when the three Republican witnesses are recommending 100 different things other than tariff policy. Mr. Bishop, do you agree with Donald Trump's tariff policy?
I'm not here as an economic expert.
You're all saying you're not here as an economic expert, and yet you're giving us all these recommendations for how we build an industrial base. Is it that you don't have any expertise and we should just pick up any random citizen, or are you here as some economic expertise on industrial policy?
Is that for me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I misspoke on this. I mean, on tariffs, this is just not one of the, I mean, like these guys as well, we're focused on building companies here.
But I don't understand how
there
you
is a-
don't have the President of the United States is saying the way to build manufacturing is to have these tariff policies. You're here to testify on manufacturing, how we're going to build it. And you're telling me you don't have an opinion on whether the Trump tariff policy is successful or not?
We're here to represent private industry, people who are actually building companies, not people who are theoretical.
This is not a theoretical matter. He's implemented tariffs. I'm not even trying to trick you. I'm saying, do you agree with all his tariff policies, or do you disagree with them? Or are you so afraid that you don't know what to say?
I think all of us have been really clear. We're here to, this is not what we're here to talk about.
But do you agree with it or disagree with it? Yes or no? I mean, you could say either things.
I have the same position as these guys. We're here to
Which
talk
is-
about how to incentivize more manufacturing and industrial
Right, but do you
jobs.
think that the president's tariff policies are doing that or not?
I think it's a mix. I think what you're,
It's
as
a
Chris
mix. So
said.
some of it is correct and some of it is wrong?
Well,
I'm
what-
just you think some of Trump's tariff policies haven't worked?
No, I'm saying I agree with actually what Chris was saying, is that what we've seen so far has been, and what we're going to be seeing over the next 90 to 100 days has been really interesting, especially as more countries are coming back to the table. But I can't tell the
All three
future.
of you are so afraid of criticizing Donald Trump that even though you don't mention tariffs in any of your testimonies, none of you are willing to say that this policy is totally backfiring.
I just don't want to try to predict the near future. I'm not a mind reader. I don't know what's going on in the minds of the counterparties in other countries, and I think this is an inappropriate place to be asked.
Inappropriate to ask you about tariff policy in a manufacturing hearing when that's the president's policy? Anyway, my time has expired. Mr. Speaker, the stock market is decimated, almost 20% down, entering bear territory. At the same time, bond yields are skyrocketing, meaning ordinary Americans are going to have higher interest rates on their credit cards and their mortgages. It means we're going to have to pay more on our debt. At the same time, the dollar is declining and prices are going up, meaning it's going to be harder to afford groceries. Mr. Speaker, this is the most self-destructive, wealth-destroying policies any administration has undertaken in modern American history. They have tariffs at 1909 levels at 22.5%, making a global trade war. Businesses have lost confidence. There is only one way out. We need a reset of this president's economic team. Howard Lutnick, who's talking about building more screws in America as if we were living in the 19th century, needs to go. We need new economic thinkers with this president who actually understand how the economy works and can turn things
Gentleman's
around.
time has expired. For what purpose?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for allowing me to wave on to the committee. Mr. Gonzalez, I read with interest your testimony. It was so angry, so I thought I'd try to lighten things up a little bit. Who are three of your favorite characters on Daniel Tiger, or what episodes are your favorites?
Representative Khanna, thank you very much for the opportunity to lighten up. I think I've taken a time machine here. Sesame Street went to HBO.
Daniel Tiger, do you have some favorite characters? Oh, the owl, any of them?
No, none.
What does Ugga Mugga mean to you?
Nothing.
You've never heard the expression Ugga Mugga?
Yeah, I don't think so, no.
It's affection. Have you ever watched a Daniel Tiger show, or know any families who watch a Daniel Tiger show?
I don't think so, no.
You've never watched one? You have
I've never
strong
seen Daniel
opinions on
Tiger.
it,
Sorry,
but I thought- do you know what Daniel Tiger is a successor to?
And I don't know Daniel Tiger, so I don't know what he's.
No, the show. What it's a successor to? Do you know?
No.
You really don't know?
No, I
Honestly?
really, no, I'm on the
You know
oath.
all of history. It's a successor to Mr. Rogers.
Oh, there you go, okay.
Yeah, I mean-
Mr. Rogers, I know.
Okay. Are you familiar with his 1969 testimony?
I am.
He said, I want to quote, because it's one of my favorites. I studied this actually going to school. It's some of the most effective testimony in Congress. He said, I give an expression of care every day to each child to help him realize that he is unique. I end the program by saying, you've made this day a special day by just being you. There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are. Senator Pastor was a hard-headed fiscal conservative, said he got goosebumps by that testimony, and it's what convinced him to fund the public broadcast. You've said you wouldn't have funded it. Do you think Senator Pastor made a mistake back then?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think I agree with Fred Friendly, who testified and said.
You would have voted against.
I would have voted, yes, I don't think that you should have state broadcasters.
Now, what is the cost of public broadcasting as a percent of the federal budget?
I don't know, but it is
I mean, yes, come on, you're talking about the $36 trillion of debt that we have. You're saying this is a really important thing that we need to cut. You didn't research out what percent
it's
it is?
important in principle,
Well,
and
no, but you
was.
said the principle is a different thing. You're saying this is an effective strategy to cut debt, and you have no idea what
It
percent.
was 5% of the discretionary cuts in the GOP.
It's 0.01%.
Right, but it was 5% of the discretionary cuts in the 17 budget.
0.01%
Right.
of the federal budget. That's one of the reasons Senator Pastor said, it's worth it in an investment in American kids. Now, you said Sesame Street is a private organization, or Sesame Street is going private. I didn't understand that because Sesame Workshop is a nonprofit. What did you mean by private?
Well, I mean, it's a nonprofit. It's separate from.
But it gets public funding. Were you talking about the HBO thing?
Yes,
Do you realize that HBO just canceled with them? And
I do. Yes.
And the reason they canceled them, and I'm trying to explain why Senator Pastor funded this, and if you talk to families who watch Daniel Tiger, maybe you'd appreciate it. The reason they canceled it is because it wasn't making a profit. See, because when you try to do Daniel Tiger or Sesame Street, and you try to do what Mr. Rogers was talking about, helping the emotional and social development of kids, it's not easy. You got to hire people who are child psychologists. You have to hire people who are educationalists. A lot goes into this. And HBO said, you know what? It's not making money. We rather put on things that are geared towards adults or that are going to be conflicts. We aren't making money on this. And the whole reason Senator Pastor said that we're going to fund this, I know you kind of mocked in your testimony the kids, but the whole reason was that when you make programming for children to help their social and emotional development, it costs so much money to do, and it's a public good, then not everything has to be about profit. Do you have any idea what it takes to produce Daniel Tiger, who all they hired? Did you ever try to figure it out?
No, but I can tell you that the market said that there wasn't enough demand for it, and that's the reason why HBO got rid of it.
Right.
Because there wasn't enough demand.
Yeah, so that's exactly the right point. Are you saying that everything in American society needs to be driven by the profit motive? There is not enough demand on getting ratings for things that help the social and economic development of kids. But you know what Mr. Rogers understood, what we've forgotten in this country? Some things are more valuable than money. At a time where a country is polarized, I wish we had a little more empathy and caring, and that's not a partisan issue. That's an American issue, and I would recommend you watch that testimony from Mr. Rogers. I hope the whole country would watch it.
I have watched it, and we are $36 trillion in debt.
I now recognize the gentleman from Missouri, Mr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I wanted to comment on the earlier debate where Representative Grothman and Representative Green said that some of these cuts that Musk and Doge are making are good and making our country more efficient. And our side said, no, there are federal workers who are being fired without cause, and they aren't the poor performers that they are. And I guess my question for the chair, and I know Chair Comer isn't here, is why not have Elon Musk come before this committee and make the case? I mean, why not have Representative Green ask him to explain why she thinks the situation is good and have the confidence to explain that to the American public? And we can ask him questions about where we think that he has violated the law. But I do not understand what the reluctance is to have Mr. Musk come here. If you're so confident on your side that what he's doing is in the interest of the American people, why not have speech and have him here? And I hope that the chair will consider that request. Mr. Dodaro, I have great respect for you, and I have great respect for your service. But with due respect, this is not a time for caution in speaking out. Your predecessor, Elmer Statz, took Gerald Ford to court because Ford was not willing to comply with the Impoundment Act. This was not a decision that she made, that Statz made, but lawyers, Statz spoke out. And I want to ask you whether what you think the President is doing in pausing these payments automatically is a violation of the Impoundment Act.
Yeah, we are looking at that issue. We've already sent letters to the administration asking them to explain their legal position to us, and we will be making rulings as to whether or not these issues violated the Impoundment Control Act or not.
When will you be making that?
As soon as we can get the information from the administration. We're following the court cases as well, so we're evaluating the court filings.
What if they refuse to give you the information?
Well, we have the information that's available through the court filings of what their legal positions are for many of these issues that are subject to the litigation.
Would you say within 45 days? Because that's the rescission, I mean, they have about 45 days. I mean, I think the automatic payments is a violation itself.
Yeah, we are going to make these decisions as fast as possible. I fully intend to carry out our responsibilities under the Impoundment Control Act expeditiously and thoroughly.
But how about by May 1st?
I'll check with my attorneys, is what the people always say.
Let
But
me ask-
I'll
but
check.
what is-
I'll let you know.
But
yeah,
do you-
I'm going to do it as quickly as we can. But we need to be careful and thorough, because the next step for us is to go to court ourselves. I mean, under the Impoundment Control Act, if we say there's an impoundment, the money's not released within a certain period of time, we have to go to court.
And are you prepared to do that?
Yes. Yes. But I need to be prepared and be careful. And because when I go there, I want to win. All right? So we're going to do this as fast and as thoroughly as we can. We have a good track record on this area. I have a good group of attorneys, and we're going to do a thorough job.
So can the American people be assured that if there are violations of the Impoundment Act in the automatic pause or in the cuts, that you will make sure that you prosecute that or take it to court and are confident that you will prevail?
I can be confident that I will take it to its full closure. I'm not going to predict what the court's going to say. I know better than that. But they have their own independent decision-making. They're making some decisions right now on these very topics. And but I know, and I'm confident I can give the American people assurance we will carry out our responsibilities.
But to all the constituents who are saying we're not doing enough, these things are getting paused, there are cuts that are happening, you can assure them that you are moving as expeditiously and taking this as seriously, that this is your top priority in making sure that you're going to uphold the Impoundment Act and take aggressive action if it's violated.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've been talking about this as soon as things started to unfold. We sent our letters over. This is very important. Now, there's a lot of factors that go into making these decisions. One is how specific Congress was in the appropriation law to begin with. We need to take that into account. This year, we're in a continuing resolution stage, so you don't have a lot of specifics for this fiscal year, whether it's know your money or not your money. There's some pauses for programmatic review. There's a lot of details and a lot of legal considerations to sort through. But this is a high priority for us, and we're going to execute our responsibilities.
I appreciate it.
All right, I'll now recognize Mr. Biggs for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much. It's good to see you again. Welcome back.
Madam Speaker, last week, President Trump came in this chamber and he said he was going to balance the budget immediately. I just want to go over some facts, not politically, just facts. We've got a $36 trillion debt. That's where we stand. Now, currently, we're running a $1.8 trillion deficit. So if you were to balance the budget, that would be zero, and we should stay at a $36 trillion debt. But what does President Trump do with the Republicans? What is their budget? Their budget actually is going to add $28 trillion of debt over the next 10 years. Now, here's the kicker. It's not just that they aren't balancing it to keep it at $36 trillion, it's that they're adding more debt by adding to the deficits more than the current deficits. The current deficit projection would add $23.9 trillion of debt. But the Republicans want to add $28.5 trillion of debt, $4.6 trillion more of debt spending than the current deficit spending. I just ask for some math. You want a deficit spend to have tax breaks for the wealthy because you think that'll help the economy? Fine. But every American should look at this chart because the Republican budget is making the deficit and the debt worse. It's not balancing the budget. Now I want to speak about my second chart. Madam Speaker, many of us want to cut waste, fraud, and abuse from government. So where should we look first? Well, how about the Pentagon, which has 13% of the federal budget? Now, Mr. Musk, who I've known for 15 years, he's firing all these veterans. You think, oh, is he saving money? Let's look at this chart. All of the DOGE firings, 0.004% of the budget is where Mr. Musk's cuts have come. That's 455 times less than the Republican tax breaks, which are 1.82% of the budget. I don't understand it. I mean, Mr. Musk, Elon, you're an engineer. You're cutting 0.004%, while the Republicans are providing 455 times that in a tax break, and you're not touching the main budget of 13% of the Pentagon. So I have a proposal for you. You can either come to Congress to explain this chart, why you're going after 0.004%, or USAID, 0.7%, as opposed to going to the 13% of the Pentagon budget, why you're allowing tax breaks of 455 times more than the savings you're finding at DOGE. You can either come to Congress or you can go to Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart called you out and he said, why not, if you want to cut waste, cut the Pentagon defense contractor budget? Why not cut the fossil fuel subsidies? Why not cut the drug manufacturers who are ripping off the government? Just talk math. Talk math about how you get actual cuts, because right now you're cutting 0.004% while not going after any of the real holy cows in our government. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Members are reminded to
Recognizes Mr. Khanna from California.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman, this administration has initiated the largest assault on the First Amendment and free speech in modern history. They're making comedy illegal. Brendan Carr pressured ABC to cancel Jimmy Kimmel, and Disney cancels Jimmy Kimmel. This canceling from an administration that lectured us about cancel culture. That's why today I'm introducing a motion to subpoena Brendan Carr, to bring him in front of this committee, to stop the intimidation of private businesses and to stand up for the First Amendment. Now, it's not just Brendan Carr. Attorney General Pram Bondi is prosecuting hate speech, even though hate speech is constitutionally protected. And even though we've had so many lectures from my friends on the other side of the aisle not to prosecute hate speech. And then what about our vice president, the champion of free speech, as he told us during the campaign? The vice president is telling Americans to snitch on fellow Americans who have offensive posts and to call their employers so they can be fired. And the vice president is threatening to prosecute political organizations that he disagrees with. Look, we are Article 1 of the Constitution, not footlackeys for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. It is time that we stand up for our constitutional role to defend the freedoms of Americans. People are tired of us just giving our power to Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. We have an obligation to our Constitution, not to Donald Trump and J.D. Vance as they ride roughshod over the First Amendment. So in the name of all those who are being censored in Washington, D.C. and around the country, in the name of all those who are being intimidated in Washington, D.C. and around the country, in the name of Americans, Republicans, Independents, and Democrats who believe in the First Amendment and free speech, I motion today to subpoena Brendan Carr and to have him explain to the American people why he's bullying private individuals and private businesses. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Pursuant to this rule, and I'll get the exact language so we make it official.
House Rule 11, Clause 2K6.
Pursuant to House Rule 11, Clause 2.6, I motion to subpoena Brendan Carr to come before this committee and testify in front of the full Oversight Committee, and I hope that my motion to subpoena him will be voted on as soon as possible.
A motion is made. The committee will hold this motion in abeyance until 1:45. Give everybody time to get back in there.
Thank you.
And if I might say,
Yes, sir.
I know Brendan Carr well, and
Mr. Chair, I hope you'll have him come in.
I think we could do that. I think
I
we could,
appreciate that, sir.
We could. I don't think the motion's necessary, but I think he would. I'm pretty confident he would be willing to come in to testify. So
Well, thank
I'll just
you.
say that. I don't think the motion's necessary. You want to withdraw the motion?
I still want the motions. All right. Well,
right.
you know, we'll do it,
Okay.
and he can come in. But I'd appreciate, you know, I've appreciated your working with our ranking member on Epstein, and I've appreciated your collaboration with him. Of course, I appreciate our ranking member's leadership on this issue, and he deserves a lot of credit for our subpoena today. But, you know, if you want to work with our ranking member on a collaborative process on that, like you have been on Epstein, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
I'd
you.
also like to second the motion.
Thank you, Congresswoman. And first of all, thank you, Representative Khanna. And Mr. Chairman, I think that's a great offer. I think we're very interested in what's happening, and if we could come to an agreement, I know we have another 30 minutes or so before we actually take this vote, but if we can come to an agreement prior to that, I'd like to talk to Mr. Khanna and to you, because I think our goal, and clearly yours, is to get him in front of this committee. I think it would be very productive.
And I think he would want to come. Well, nobody wants to come in front of the committee, but I think he would be willing to come in front of the committee. So
I think we have.
We'll make sure our staffs are in communication, and we'll see. But your motion is recognized, and we'll see if we can come up with something before
Right.
1:45. If we can't, we'll vote on it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.